Hello everyone, this is Kyrix, and I am back at the little scenario selection screen of Pony Fantasy VI. Now, the last video ran, let's face facts, obscenely long, and you may recall my thing about me talking about Fraps eating up space. Before I trimmed it down, that video was something like 20 gigabytes, so that was a little nuts. We did Luna's scenario, now we're going to do my favorite scenario, Apple Bloom. Now, I did a little quick run to test a theory. You may recall me saying that Apple Bloom was a lot more powerful in this game. Well, there's a thing... I suppose I should equip myself. The whole basics of this scenario is that you want to steal clothes from people so you can navigate. For example, there is a, is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. The first step is to fight this merchant. And try to steal her clothes. This normally takes about half a dozen attempts because at this point her steal percentage is very, 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 very low. There we go. Second try, that's not bad. Well, technically in this one it's not clothes you're stealing, it's dye for your fur and your mane. Which makes more sense, I suppose. Anyway. Now, in Final Fantasy VI, unless you have ground to retarded levels, this is how you do this. You go in here, you go downstairs, you talk to the kid, and the kid lets you through. Apple Bloom does not have to do this. You see, normally you can fight these heavy armors and they will absolutely destroy you because they're so powerful. But Apple Bloom has an option that Locke does not, using a tool that I normally do not use. Go to Noise Blaster, confuse the heavy armor, and it'll hit itself. And then you just wait, and it'll take itself out. If it hits itself with a physical attack, you just Noise Blaster it again. Like so. And one more time. If it tech lasers again, that's it. Nope. No tech laser? Well, fine. I didn't want your tech laser anyway. There we go. By the way, 234 damage. That would just about one-shot Apple Bloom. Now, as you can see, with her Noise Blaster, Apple Bloom could just power right through this whole sector. I did the merchant just to show you how you're supposed to do it, but let's face facts. Why mess with that when you can power through and get the XP? It's kind of ironic because if you're powerful enough to do that, you don't need the XP. But in this game, you can get away with it really easily. Now I attack this officer and steal the uniform. That's 2 attempts. And got it on the 3rd try. And now, I am a gray mare in pink armor, so let's talk to soldiers. They'll actually talk to you now. They don't have very much interesting to say. But that little snippet there was a piece of important information. Now, I'd love to say that I knew that was going to be there, and I did that just so I could show how awesome I am, but it just happened that was the first soldier I had sight on. Now, if I were to talk to that soldier as anyone else, I would get in a fight, and win or lose, I would retreat. Also, in this, if you die while you're doing the town infiltration, then, you just respawn with 1 hit point back where we started out. Now I gotta fight this one. This is something I skimped over in the original run because it's not important. But if you go to that old mayor's house and talk to the merchant, or you come here, you talk to the merchant, they'll take the cider, go to the old mayor. Go to the old mayor's house, talk to the merchant, they'll come back here. It basically shows you the cider run. So that you know. And yes, even though it would be a great pony tie-in, it actually is cider that you steal in the American version. I have no idea what it is in the Japanese version, but it just happens to be a brilliant tie-in that it's cider and ponies drink cider. Alright, move. Move, move, move. And, of course, we aren't merged. Oh, crap. It's not going to let me. Okay, this is one of those cases where I can't power my way through because the heavy armor won't fight me. And, yeah. Alright, kind of hoping that merchant's back. I can't see why she wouldn't be. That's a good reason why. There's another merchant somewhere that I can fight because the game wouldn't let me lock myself out like that. There we go. Now there is one thing I'm going to do. Normally I don't like to edit my videos like this, but I am going to do a little editing in this one because there are 2 things that can be said when you find the character in here. And I want to show them both off because, well, why not? This is kind of cute. Okay, here's the cider. Drop it off. Actually, I might not do the editing. It depends on if I can find the a save point before. And this is so much easier in the English, or in the pony version. In the English version, or in Final Fantasy VI, the thing is Rosebud, which you just have to guess. But this one's retardedly easy. Now, you may recall that the last time I was here, I stopped before I went into this area because I didn't want to show it off. I wanted to wait until now. And now here I am. Now, I don't think I covered it, but if you talk to the pony in this room here, they're writing a letter to the Empire. And I had my volume turned down, so I don't know if you could hear, but there's wind noises. Stay in these for now. Oh, crap. Found that accidentally. I don't think I even knew that existed until I saw it in Fee's LP. Now here's a required scene. Apple Bloom does the same thing when she's dressed as a merchant or as a, as herself. She'll hide in the rafters. Now, if she's dressed as a soldier, then when the soldier comes out, she salutes and hides that way. The great and powerful Trixie. And there's Apple Bloom hiding in the rafters. Anyway, I'm gonna save here real quick, because I want to show that off, if it'll let me out. It might not let me back out. Okay. I'm gonna keep these on. Note that he's asleep. Take your chains off. There's no benefit to waiting a few minutes except for stalling that. And that's what she says if you're Merchant Bloom. Now I'm gonna cut it here, and I will be back with the soldier uniform, alright? So see you in a couple minutes. And we're back in the adorable pink helmet, and remove her chains again. Now, in the Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy III, Celes will make a Star Wars reference of, "Aren't you a little short for a soldier?" Now, one more time, and we're back once again. Before I proceed, one thing I forgot is the kid who opens the secret passage. Once you do that the first time, the kid doesn't care what you're wearing. You can come as Apple Bloom, you can come as a trooper, or you can come as the merchant, and they'll still open it. Also, if you guess the password incorrectly, you'll be teleported to the quote-unquote starting area where you go if you lost all your hit points, and you'll be in your normal costume. Yeah, Hayseed will become Trixie's little term of endearment for Apple Bloom. Which is kind of ironic, because Celes never had a nickname for Locke that I can remember. Now, before I proceed, let's get Trixie equipped. Now, I bought equipment as though I was equipping Celes, but I remembered that I knew at the time that Trixie is a little odd to equip, you know? She doesn't have Celes's stats. This is another case of them completely changing the character, because Celes was very much a fighter, a frontline fighter with powerful magic. Trixie is not. She can hold her own, don't get me wrong, but she tends more towards magic than fighting. Now, like I said, of the 3 scenarios, this is my favorite. I did them in the order that I did because I wanted to do Luna so that I could equip the whole party right away. I wanted to do this next because it's my favorite of the scenarios. And Twilight's, which I'm going to be doing in this same video because it's not very long, is so superfluous that I don't think it needs to be a scenario at all. This could have easily been told in cutscenes, you know? But hey, who asked me, right? Of course, if I had my way, you could do the opera scene more than once. Incidentally, just like with Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo, in my original playthrough, I did make a separate file for the Opera House just so that if I wanted to, I could go back and watch it again and again and again. That is, it's no secret that is one of my favorite scenes in all of Final Fantasy. And considering I played pretty much all the games, That says quite a bit. And it's a fan favorite for most people as well. Now most of this stuff I already have, but I don't care. Because it's better to have extras and sell them later than to come in here and have one character short of the equipment they need. Meh. Alright. I think that there is a path. Yep, right here. But I think there's a path in here somewhere that I can take with more goodies. Yay, goodies. Brony Cola. Those things, as I recall, are awesome. They're like super ethers. Likewise, the Granny Smith, I believe, is what this game calls the X-Potion. So getting Granny Smiths are amazing. I don't think I brought it up, but the resprite of the Vector Pup and pretty much all of the dog characters are Timberwolves, which is kind of cool. I don't think it was like that in the original one that I did, but it's that way in this one, so that's cool. I don't honestly remember if it's possible to get down that second or up that second set of stairs, or if it is, where it even goes. Come on, let me do something. No? Okay. Even still, if you can, I don't think there's anything back there, so it's not important. It's just something that's going to drive me a little crazy until I forget about it, which will be in about 2 minutes. Heck, I'll probably have forgotten about it by the time we get to the cave. Oh, spoiler alert, we're going to the cave. And I didn't go over it because I'm tooling through this, but Trixie is one of, Celes is one of 2 characters in Final Fantasy 3, or 6, whatever, that starts with magic, the other one, of course, being Terra. Now, Trixie and Celes, by extension, have the Unicorn/Runic skill, which, if equipped with a sword on Celes, she can draw all magic, including yours, to her, and use it to recharge her MP. Very useful when fighting magic enemies. Even more useful when she's running low on MP. For example, if you don't have the Osmos spell, you can have someone else cast fire and have her absorb the MP for it. Now, it's worth mentioning that Trixie doesn't equip very many swords at all, so she doesn't need a weapon to do Unicorn. I almost called it Runicorn. But yeah, she can Unicorn regardless of what she's equipped with, which is very useful. And, oh, I didn't do it. I was about to say, I almost forgot, but usually I don't get those treasures until the second playthrough. Now we're going to play a little game called Don't Let Apple Bloom Die. Oh, crap. Wrong pony! Maybe he won't notice. Or maybe he'll just miss. You know what? I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to kick his ass now. Incidentally, in I think the previous video I mentioned that I only had 1 pony die. I was wrong. Twilight actually died twice. But that's neither here nor there. Now obviously in this game you're going to die. Even if you're level 99 throughout the entire game, you're going to die at some point. That being said, let's see if we can keep the death counter nice and low. At least until the World of Ruin. It'll go a long way towards proving my this game isn't that hard theory. Now normally Celes would be carrying you through these caves with her magic, but then again, this isn't Locke, this is Apple Bloom, and Apple Bloom is an ass-kicking machine with her tools. The downside is that Twilight's scenario will be a little bit harder, but fortunately she doesn't have a boss to fight like the others do. Which is good because Celestia is not Edgar and she does not have tools, but she does have magic. And that's her explaining how to beat this boss, that I'm gonna attract all of its bolt attacks to me. And apparently when the missile bay is open, I'm supposed to let him have it with my own bolt magic. Now, as I said, Runic can bite you in the ass simply because if you're trying to cure, then you're not going to get very far. Now, she will become invaluable for the next boss fight, which I'm embarrassed to say, in all the years I played this game, it has never occurred to me to use Runic or Unicorn in that boss fight. But the boss who's going to be coming up after him, after I complete all the scenarios, is known to cast the Muddle spell, which, to put it lightly, is annoying. And there's the missile base. And now the horseshoes come off. Okay, that wasn't cool. But that was. For no reason at all. Did you level? No, but you gave me an elixir. I don't know why they don't do it, but I distinctly remember in Final Fantasy III that bosses give XP. Because I remember being mad in 7 and 8, which don't even get me started on those games, that the bosses didn't. Or maybe it was just 7. One of the Final Fantasies didn't. And I'm back in the scenario select screen. Sorry, I meant to look at the clock. We're going to quickly wrap up this scenario, and then we're going to save, and then I will end this video. And of course, we're back on the raft. Now, I don't need to tell you, these scenarios are all happening at the same time. This is not the world's longest raft ride. Yeah, unbeknownst to you, the ponies have been circumnavigating the globe on this damn raft. You know what? It occurs to me, I'm going to have to break out the magic if I intend to do this in any time at all. Because these enemies are really too hard to do without Luna or Apple Bloom. And as you can see, I have neither in this party. Because the game intends for this to be Terra, Edgar, and Terra, Edgar, and Bannon at this point. But, as I said, Celestia is not Edgar, and she does not know how to work tools. So as a result, this fight is a lot harder than it has to be. For example, I wouldn't have wasted 2 turns on this battle if I'd had Edgar in the party. But, well, Bloom's scenario gets gets easier, and Twilight's gets harder. It is the circle of life. But then again, without her having magic, they really did have to give her something else. Same thing with Applejack. She'll never learn magic, so they had to give her something to compensate, and they gave her Luna's techniques, which gave us that little mini-scene, which will never be brought up again in the game, where she's like, well, could you give me some pointers on those techniques? Really? You had to get in one more fight, huh? Okay. Oh, just because I'm never going to get the chance again. In the last game, I showed you what the Ghost had. Well, the mayor's equipped with what I believe is the Change Rod. And this, in case you're ever wondering, because you can't equip them, or you can't select relic and equipment with them. In case you're ever wondering what they're equipped with, all you got to do is hit relic or equipment and highlight the entire party, like so, and it shows you everything they've got equipped. Now if you go into town, they get mad and throw you out on your plot. I want to bring up two things. Number one, that's a hell of a punch. Number two, Celestia could turn you into a friggin' cloud of vapor and you just decked her. Thought the game froze for a second there. Now, those who paid attention in the start will remember that Apple Bloom showed us a secret passageway, which incidentally you cannot access until this point in the game, because I tried earlier. When I was grinding, I decided to see if I could grind easier in the cave, and it wouldn't let me back in. So, here I am, back in the cave. That button will never be used again for anything. The one on the wall that Bloom used to open it originally. Basically, every time you come through here, if you have to leave that way, you can just walk through and it'll open on its own. Which kind of makes me wonder why they put the button there in the first place and they never intended for you to use it. Now, as you can see, these enemies have gotten much stronger. You know what, just so they're not casting the same spell. Now, it's a bit odd that they never got an attack, period. Unless I missed it while I was talking. Now, since I was an idiot with no memory as a child, this really sucked. Now, what I have to do is follow that pathway. In the original, that was referred to as a security system. If I stray off the path, this happens, and I have to tag that glimmering light, or I get into a battle. See? No problem. Whoops. God, if I'd known I was that incompetent, I wouldn't have strayed off the path the first time to show it to you. Anyway, this will look familiar in a couple seconds. Now, as I recall, those Vaporites are weak against, or not weak, but they absorb ice. I'm wrong, they absorb fire. So why did I cast Bolt again? Well, A, I have confidence in Twilight, and B, I'm a complete idiot. Astute viewers will notice that this is where Twilight's room collapsed, and this is where Bloom and the Scudaloos defended her. This is not the way we need to go, so why am I here? Because I want to go to the Scudaloo cave. That's a lot of Scudaloo. It's like the KFC warehouse. This, by the way, is the original Scudaloo. These others are all imitations. I also want to do another callback, the Rune Blade, by the way. I want to do another callback to what I was talking about with her being so over-leveled. The other Scudaloos are something like level 2 to 5, and the Prime Scudaloo is freaking level 10. That's far more than she needs to be at that point. That Scudaloo is so powerful that we said at the beginning of the game, she would not be out of place in this group right now if we could have recruited her. She would hold her own. Now, I forgot to do it on the first, in the cave. I forgot to leave the items alone. I may have mentioned that. It's also equally likely that I just reflexively went into the cave and grabbed everything. But you get better items if you leave them alone. However, if you leave them alone too long, you lose the items altogether. Likewise, I left the items in here alone, hoping the same thing would happen. I could run, but I'm just out of practice from running. Like in my Final Fantasy V LP, I explained that I never intend to run because there's an item I want to get in that game called the Brave Blade, whose attack power decreases every time you run from a battle. I don't have that excuse here, it's just, meh. I'm gonna have the scooter, which is the Moogle charm in this thing. I knew that, I just never mentioned it until now, the name in this game. And since I'm going to be ignoring all those battles later in the game, I may as well, to make up for it, fight them now. And now we go back here, we talk to this guy, and all the scenarios will now converge. Incidentally, going by the order that all the scenarios happen in the next scene, I believe the canonical play order is Twilight, Luna, and then Apple Bloom, which is almost reverse order that I did them in. By the way, I honestly believe that at some point Twilight, or not Twilight, but Luna and Apple Bloom scenarios should have intersected, because that boat they were on took them to South Canterlot, where Apple Bloom was waiting. By the way, in case you're wondering how they got out of South Canterlot, it's actually explained if you go in there before the Empire clears out. If you take the boat to South Canterlot, the guy who runs the boat will hide you in a treasure chest, put you in the city limits, and let you out. So in case you're wondering, that's how Apple Bloom, or Applejack, Luna, and Pinkie Pie got out of South Canterlot. Oh, by the way, there's I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the blue-haired Choctavia. And here comes Princess Caps Lock, ready to lend some whoop-ass to the crew. It's worth mentioning that, in addition to Discord, Pinkie Pie's is one of the voices I do hear whenever I read her dialogue. I don't know why I don't hear the other pony voices, but I do hear Pinkie's. So far, we're up to Pinkie and Discord that I hear whenever they talk. That's right, throw Pinkie into the wall. Oh, for some reason, Apple Bloom and Applejack are not related in this game. They have no real scenes together after this. There's nothing linking them together. They're not mentioned as being sisters or anything. They're just completely separate, realized characters, which is not important to the storyline. It's just worth mentioning. Because the series makes such a point of the two of them being sisters and related and all that. And for the game to completely shrug that off with no mention is kind of odd, but I'm fine with it. Yes, that's a lot of Magitech armor. I will not be fighting the Magitech armor sprites, but I will be fighting a whole lot of soldiers in the next part. The next thing will probably be a video in and of itself. And the main reason I don't read that dialogue to you, except for parts that I really like, is the fact that I just don't like reading out loud like that, and my voice is feeling scratchy enough without me doing commentary and reading. Some people can do it, I'm not one of them. And this is kind of cool that every single scene has a new pony stop to talk to Trixie. Trixie likes winning, besides. Don't you know that fighting is magic? Too soon. No, I'm one of the people who was never torn up about the whole fighting is magic thing. Simply because after the first year and a half, I just flat out gave up on that game ever being released. Because it just was trapped in development hell. Oh, yes, gotta do the equipment. I will do that real quick. You know what? I don't want her to have that. She actually uses her magic. You know what? Yeah, hold on. This is a scene to basically let you equip every pony. Don't need to do her. It's really just these two. I want to see if Trixie can equip it, because that's... I always gave it to Celis. Nope. So we'll go with her. Now, Fee hates this weapon because of the fact that it is a, it drains your magic to crit. I don't care. And of course, I have to finish this as Twilight. And I will save. And that does it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Leave comments if you want to give commentary and criticism and whatnot. And I will see you next time for this rather large battle. See you later.